Hey, hello. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Hi. Hi, it's Gary Lucas here. Oh, how I've missed you. And I love playing for you again. And I'm sort of back in the groove with my groovy new pedal board, courtesy of Jimmy Archey up there at 30th Street Guitars. I want to give them a big shout out. Jimmy helped design this pedal board for me. This is, you're not going to believe it, this is the second pedal board I think I've had in all the, I'm going pro, you see, now. Back in the day when I did decide to leave my day job and play guitar for a living, see the world, as Tony Visconti once said. Well, Gary, play guitar and see the world. Hi, Tony. I had a little Boss pedal board, a Roland pedal board, that little gray plastic job with a few of their effects in there. But as far as graduating to a more elaborate setup, I avoided this for now. How many years out am I? 35, doing this full time. It being 2025, yes? Bullet. I mean, one reason why I never went whole hog on this was the fact that unless you're a very, very, very successful artiste or band, and you can afford the cartage, the board in an anvil case, which is what you want to get, something really roadworthy that an elephant could step on and not make a dent in. That cost is prohibitively expensive. And then, of course, flying inter-European from country to country really kicks up the freightage costs, because after 9/11 they started charging by the pound. Yeah, and I think you're allowed only 28, maybe 30 pounds maximum of extra baggage now on flights. And once you go over that limit with a very elaborate pedal board setup in an anvil case, it just kicks the overhead up. And one wants to make a profit, correct, in doing this. I mean, especially if you're doing it for a living, as I am. So my solution was to wrap all of the pedals up individually in plastic bags, or failing that, bubble wrap in a plastic bag. Something that would sort of protect it, but not give you the extra overweight charges of a sturdy pedal board, which this is. But anyway, I thought the time had come after all these years to do this, and so I'm so glad I did. I just installed it here. It's very easy. It's got a lightweight carrying case for now. I think I can get it in a suitcase with some merchandise and my clothes. That's about, and a drop kit, of toilet articles, to be able to make a very still portable and compact touring operation. And I've got some dates that came in today in Ireland. I'm happy to say I'm playing the Belfast Guitar Festival. I think it's April 10th, and then Whelan's in Dublin, one of my favorite places to play. I must have played there 4 or 5 times over the years. That I think is the Sunday, April 12th. I got to check those dates, but somewhere thereabouts. So I think I'll be able to get this rig in the suitcase without overweight charges. We shall see. But the alternative was, like I say, wrap them up in a duffel bag, everything stuffed in a duffel bag, including extra cords, extra power supplies. This thing has a very ingenious construction so that it's completely, pretty much eliminated hum, which is what you get when you wire pedals up in a series. So that's a new one for me, because sometimes I've been known by my noisy hum guitar sound, but actually when you start cranking it up and playing flat, nobody really notices or seems to care if they do notice. And anyway, so now I'm going to play for you. I hope the framing is on point here. The tripod apparatus is still a little dodgy in the rig I've got for my iPhone, but we shall see. Whoops. Swing low, swing mic stand. And I'm going in stereo with 2 amps here. was it who said the wah-wah pedal is just a war toy? I think Al Cooper in the liner notes to Super Session, the great album. Anyway, there was some recent, very sad deaths of some superb, outstanding musicians this week, primarily for me as a former alumnus of Captain Beefheart's Magic Band. The great guitarist Elliot Ingber passed, I think at age 84. And I eulogized him on Facebook and elsewhere. He was really a fantastic guitar player on stage, and one of the few that Don Van Vliet, Captain Beefheart, gave free rein to improvise on a few songs. And I saw him, and met him backstage at Yale University. This is fall of '72. Anyway, they came up. That was where I first met Don formally, and we bonded. But I spoke to all the members backstage, and Elliot, I'll never forget, I went and, told him how much I admired his playing. The Spotlight Kid album had just come out on Warner Brothers, and on this track, Alice in Blunderland, you can really hear Elliot wail in a very free-form, psychedelic rock guitar solo. So I asked him what he thought of Jeff Beck, who still remains to this day my favorite, I suppose, my favorite improvising rock guitarist. I mean, I love so many guitarists, and I know a lot of their work inside out. Maybe Jimi Hendrix is supreme of all of them, but I'd say Beck, anyway, as far as recorded output, he has a prodigious amount of great albums. He tragically passed, as you may know, a couple of years ago. But anyway, so Elliot looked at me. He was very self-effacing and quite shy, but he kind of looked up from his reverie and fixed me with an intense stare. And he said, man, he had an album out called Truth. And there was a long pause, and he went, it was the truth. So that was, a tip of the hat from one great guitarist to another. And anyway, he's passed on. I hope the Times or somebody does an obit that doesn't repeat all the usual stuff about Elliot, but he's probably best known for composing the song Don't Bogart That Joint, My Friend, Pass It Over to Me, which was made very on the soundtrack to Easy Rider. In one of the stoner sequences, handsomely, well, as handsomely as you can, off the royalties for that song for many years, but now, of course, royalties don't mean diddly squat. I could go on here, but outside of a very few rappers, basically, mainly, or extreme pop stars, I don't have to enumerate them, you know who they are. It's really hard to make any sort of money on streams, the royalty paying some fraction of a penny, some minuscule fraction, I don't know the precise figures, but let's say, what do you think a million streams payout is these days? About 3,000, if you're lucky, only. Now, in the old days, it was a lot more than that. You could put in a new swimming pool or a new house. But anyway, the times have changed, but who am I to complain? I'm happy to be here, happy to be part of the industry of human happiness, as one of the ads for Immediate Records, Andrew Lou Goldham's great English label, had on one of their advertisements back in the day, in the 60s. So Elliot passed on, as did the great Barry Goldberg, fantastic keyboard player who actually played on Elliot Ingber's own band, the Fraternity of Man's first album, uncredited in the liner notes, but I just recently learned that there's some prominent keyboard parts, and that's Barry. Plus, he was in, Paul Butterfield. I don't think he ever recorded with him, but he's very prominent all over the Electric Flags. Great first album on Columbia Records. A New Day Coming, I think, is the title of that album. That features Mike Bloomfield, one of the greatest American guitarists of all time, and a great band with Harvey Brooks, who else? Nick Gravenites, who died last year. A whole stellar cast of players among them chiefly Barry Goldberg. And there's some others, but they're all of age, you know. I mean, we're all going to get there sooner than later. I would say a good 10 years at least left in me. And I did vow after seeing Peter Green in a very unfortunate performance at Tramps, I did vow to my friend Glenn Kenny, you know something? When I'm his age, I'm going to be playing with the same fire as I did when I started out. And I think I've maintained that edge. We'll see. I don't know. I'm slower for sure in some aspects of my playing, but, you know, less is more. So, okay, there I've patted myself on the back a little bit too much here. But, you know, folks, if you want to be a guitarist, you really have to have a very assertive ego. Something that I lacked for years. I was very self-effacing. Also on the songwriting front when I started. I just psyched myself out of doing it. I used to say, gee, you know, anybody could write a song better than I could. I'm not even going to try. I got nothing to say, blah, 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 blah. And then when push came to shove, after putting Gods and Monsters together in Mark I, of which my digital assistant, Diana Lindarte, has posted a clip of us in 1989, just today, playing under the arch in, where was it? Out in Brooklyn, at the big park in Brooklyn, under that arch. Oh, it'll come to me. Senior moments, folks, senior moments. Anyway, I think I've maintained, and actually, I'm really revving up Gods and Monsters again as this power trio, du jour, psychedelic, jazz, rock, jam band, blah, 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 power trio, featuring the incredible Calvin Weston, who is basically as good, in my estimation, as Billy Cobham. I've known Calvin and played alongside him since about 91 or 2. I did a tour of Knitting Factory All-Stars in Europe, and he was there playing drums with James Blood Ulmer. I was playing solo guitar. There was a band called Chunk with Sam Bennett, kind of a synthesizer band, and the great Thomas Chapin Trio, an acoustic jazz trio. Thomas passed very sadly shortly after that tour, but anyway, we have golden memories of that. And Calvin was out there, man, every night kicking it on drums, and he wore a jockey suit and a little jockey hat. He'd do these 10-minute drum solos and whistle and scat sing the Flintstones theme song while he was playing. Just incredible. So, been after me to play for years, and I'm happy finally to have brought him in. And Ernie Brooks, my longtime bass player, is holding down the center. The center will hold with Ernie in there, playing very, very tasty Modern Lovers type bass guitar. Now that's the group that he came out of. The hissing of winter radiators. The heat just came out of the building, folks. It's really cold here. It's about 25 degrees outside, but all over America, winter is here. I wonder why. Well, it is that time of year. And then there was that recent election, but I won't go into it right now. I should just shut up and get out of here. All right, so that was a little taste. I'm getting back in the saddle. I'll have some new music for you next time. And until that time, I remain Gary Lucas. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you real soon.